I welcome you all to my 26.1 lecture on digital signal processing, that is UEC 502 for electronics and communication engineering students and electronics and computer engineering students. Today we will discuss the concept of frequency pre-warping used in the design of IR filters. The bilinear transformation avoids the problem of aliasing encountered with the use of impulse invariance because it maps the entire imaginary axis of S-plane onto the unit circle in Z-plane. The price paid for this, however, is nonlinear compression of the frequency axis. In the previous lectures, we did IR filter design by using approximation of derivatives, impulse invariance, and bilinear transformation. In the impulse invariance, we observed that there was a problem of aliasing. So we switched to bilinear transformation for IR filter design because in bilinear transformation, the entire imaginary axis of S-plane can be mapped onto the unit circle in Z-plane. But the cost paid is nonlinear compression of frequency axis. Consequently, the design of discrete time filters using bilinear transformation is useful only when the compression can be tolerated or compensated for, as in case of filters that approximate ideal piecewise constant magnitude response characteristics. In general, we can approximate the ideal frequency response by allowing some deviation from unity gain in the passband and some deviation from zero gain in the stop band with a transition band of non-zero width. If the critical frequencies such as passband and stop band edge frequencies of continuous time filter are pre-warped according to the equation capital omega is equal to 2 by t tan omega by tan small omega by 2, that is marked by equation A, then the continuous time filter can be transformed to the discrete time filter by using the equation B. Here in equation A, capital omega is the continuous time angular frequency and small omega is discrete time angular frequency. Now S is equal to sigma plus j omega in continuous time domain through Laplace transform, and Z is equal to R e raised to power j small omega in discrete time domain through Z transform. And here we use equation B for obtaining the discrete time filter system function as Hz. And for obtaining Hz, we need to have system function of analog filter in S domain. And we replace in bilinear transformation to design IR filter, we replace S with 2 by T bracket 1 minus Z raised to minus 1 divided by 1 plus Z raised to minus 1 in equation B, and we get Hz. Here Hs is the system function of analog filter and Hs is the system function of discrete time filter which meets the desired specification. So from equation B, it can be observed that we need to first design analog filter and then convert it to a discrete time IR filter using the appropriate transformation, either by bilinear transformation or by impulse invariance or approximation of derivatives. But here we are transforming it using the bilinear transformation, as we have replaced S in HAS with 2 by T bracket 1 minus Z inverse divided by 1 plus Z inverse. Here frequency warping follows a known pattern and there is a known relationship between the warped frequency omega, capital omega, and the known frequency capital omega A. Capital omega A is the known angular frequency of continuous time in the continuous time domain. We use the technique called pre-warping to account for the nonlinearity and produce a more faithful mapping. Let us suppose omega P is equal to capital omega is equal to 2 by T tan omega A capital T by 2. Mark it as equation C. Now for deriving equation C, we have used the basic relation from the concepts of sampling theorem, that small omega, that is discrete time angular frequency, is equal to capital omega, that is continuous time angular frequency, into sampling interval capital T. So equation C is derived from equation A. When we will substitute, instead of omega, I am going to substitute omega AT. So now there is a relation between capital omega P, that is pre-warped version of same frequency, that is a version of capital omega A. The subscript T denotes the pre-warped version of the same frequency. Note that in the limit capital T tending to 0, the continuous solution is capital omega tends to omega A in equation C, that is by L'Hospital's rule. If we observe that if capital T tends to 0, capital omega will tend to omega A. So omega P denotes the pre-warped version of the same frequency, omega A. Although the bilinear transformation can be used effectively in mapping a piecewise constant magnitude response characteristics from the S plane to the Z plane, the distortion in the frequency axis also manifests itself as a warping of the phase response of the filter. Therefore, it is evident that if we are interested in a discrete time low pass filter with linear phase characteristic, we cannot obtain such a filter by applying the bilinear transformation to a continuous time linear low pass filter with linear phase characteristics. So when we apply the bilinear transformation, the mapping of the magnitude response takes place from S plane to Z plane. And we use the concept of frequency pre-warping here. But in addition, the distortion in frequency axis also come into picture because of warping of the phase response of filter. So that creates non-linearity, that gives rise to non-linear phase. Therefore, if I am using bilinear transformation in which there is a phenomena of pre-warping of frequencies, then it is not possible to obtain a low pass filter with linear phase. That is an IIR low pass filter with linear phase if I'm using bilinear transformation. Now the inverse bilinear transform. The inverse bilinear transform can be specified as such: Z is equal to 1 plus S by 2 Fs divided by 1 minus S by 2 Fs. Mark it as equation D. If capital T is equal to 1 by Fs, where Fs is sampling frequency in analog domain, it follows that Z inverse is equal to 1 minus Ts by 2 divided by 1 plus Ts by 2. Mark it as equation E. Here S is sigma plus j omega, which resembles the bilinear transform. Now inverse bilinear transform. In the inverse bilinear transform, Z inverse can be replaced by this in Hz. Now if you look at the bilinear transformation, S is equal to 2 by T bracket 1 minus Z inverse 1 plus Z inverse. So here in the inverse bilinear transformation, Z inverse is 1 minus Ts by 2 divided by 1 plus Ts by 2, which closely resembles the bilinear transform. Why we need this? We need this for filter design. So the filter design steps involve the following procedure. While designing a digital filter using an analog approximation and bilinear transform, we first pre-warp the cutoff frequencies, then design the necessary analog filter, and subsequently apply the bilinear transform to the transfer function of analog filter to obtain Hz. That is system function Hz of I equivalent IIR filter in discrete time domain. So we need to first pre-warp the cutoff frequencies and then design an appropriate analog filter. So for designing for designing the digital filters, we first note down which analog approximation I want and which transform I want to use to transform analog filter to digital filter. That is, here we are going to use bilinear transform, and then we will first pre-warp the cutoff frequencies and then design the analog filter, and subsequently we will use a bilinear transform to change HAS to HZ, as we discussed above. Like here we have transformed HAS to HZ by this bilinear transformation. So we will do one example, that is design of low pass discrete time filter by applying bilinear transform to an appropriate Butterworth continuous time filter. The desired specifications for the discrete time filter are 1 minus delta 1 is equal to 0.89125, which is less than equal to magnitude h e raised to j omega, which is less than equal to 1 when small omega magnitude is lying between the range 0 to 0.2 pi. So if we observe this equation, then we will find that the maximum value of magnitude h e raised to j omega, that is filter magnitude response, is 1. And in this range, magnitude h e raised to j omega is 0.89125, corresponding to the to angular frequency in discrete domain 0.2 pi. So 1 minus delta 1 is equal to 0.89125. Here delta 1 is the passband ripple. So passband ripple is observed to be delta 1 is equal to 0.10875. Here the stop band ripple, now here delta 2 is given to be 0.17783, which is greater than equal to the magnitude h e raised to j omega when small omega magnitude is lying in the range 0.3 pi to pi. So delta 2 is, so the magnitude h e raised to j omega is less than delta 2 in this range. So delta 2 is stop band ripple, which is equal to 0.17783, and correspondingly stop band edge frequency is 0.3 pi. So we mark passband ripple delta 1 as 0.10875 and stop band ripple delta 2 as 0.17783, and correspondingly passband edge frequency in discrete time domain is omega p, small omega p is equal to 0.2 pi, that is approximately equal to 0.6283, and stop band edge frequency in discrete time domain is small omega s is equal to 0.3 pi, this is equal to 0.9425. In carrying out the design using the bilinear transformation, the critical frequencies of the discrete time filter are pre-warped to the corresponding continuous time frequencies as in equation A. So once more we have a look at equation A, that is capital omega is equal to 2 by t tan small omega by 2. Now we are given these specifications. Now we apply the bilinear transformation here. Now 0.89125 is as it is. Now the magnitude h a j capital omega is lying between 0.89125 and 1 for range. Now we'll transform small omega into capital omega by bilinear transformation. Now here 0 corresponds to 0, small omega corresponds to capital omega, and this 0.2 pi, which is omega p, is transformed to 2 by t tan 0.2 pi by 2. And for this equation delta 2, magnitude h a j omega is less than equal to 0.17783 for the range. Now here 0.3 pi corresponds to 2 by t tan 0.3 pi by 2 by bilinear transformation, and this small omega corresponds to capital omega, and this pi corresponds to by bilinear transformation infinity. Now we have got the frequency ranges or frequency specifications for magnitude response of continuous time filter by using bilinear transformation applied on the specification given for the discrete time filter. So from these specification, by applying bilinear transformation, I can get the frequency domain specifications for magnitude response of continuous time filter. Since a continuous time butterworth filter has a monotonic magnitude response, we can equivalently require that. Now look at this. HA bracket J 210.1 pi, that is corresponding to this frequency, passband edge frequency, magnitude HAJ 210.1 pi is greater than equal to 8.89125. Mark it as equation G. So this is the passband edge frequency. Corresponding to that, gain is 0.89125. Mark it as equation G. From this equation, at the top band edge frequency, the gain, the magnitude response, that is magnitude J capital omega, is equal to 0.17783. That is magnitude HAJ 210.15 pi is less than equal to 0.17783. That is from this equation. That is marked as equation I. The form of magnitude squared function for the Butterworth filter, as discussed in the previous lecture, is magnitude HA bracket J omega square whole square is equal to 1 by 1 plus bracket omega by omega c raised to power 2n. Mark it as equation J. Solving for, now in this equation, unknowns are omega c. Omega c is called the cutoff frequency or minus 3 dB frequency of low pass Butterworth filter. So unknown factors are omega c and capital N. Solving for n and omega c with equality sign, here we will put equality sign in equation G and I. For equation J, now for G and I am putting equality, and I will use equation J. That is, instead of omega, I will substitute the value of omega p. I will substitute the value of omega s, and correspondingly I will substitute the magnitude response value in G and I, and I will get two equations K and L. That is 1 plus 210.1 pi divided by omega c raised to power 2n is equal to bracket 1 by 0.89125 raised to power 2. Mark it as equation K. How this has come? So at this omega, value of omega, capital omega, 210.1 pi, that is 210.1 pi, because t is considered to be 1. It is given that t is equal to 1. So corresponding to this value, the magnitude response is 0.89125. So we will substitute 0.89125 here square, 0.89125 square here, 1 by 1 plus omega p here, that is 210.1 pi by omega c raised to power 2n, and solving this we will get K. For equation J, for equation L, I will consider this top and edge frequency, that is 210.15 pi, that is omega s is 210.15 pi. Now I will substitute here the value 0.17783, the whole square is equal to 1 by 1 plus 210.15 pi by omega c raised to power 2n, and further solving this we can get the equation L. So I have got two equations K and L, and now from here two equations are there and two variables are there, n and omega c, and using equation L and K we can obtain n is equal to log bracket 1 by 0.178 raised to power 2 minus 1 divided by bracket 1 by 0.89 raised to power 2 minus 1 divided by 2 log bracket tan 0.15 pi divided by tan 0.1 pi, and that gives me n approximately equal to 5.30466. As n must be an integer, therefore we choose n is equal to 6 more than 5. As it is n 5.3, I can choose n is equal to 6. By substituting n is equal to 6 into equation L, here we obtain omega c, that is cutoff frequency. Omega c is equal to 0.76622. Now I have value n and I have cutoff frequency omega c. For this value of omega c, the passband specifications are exceeded and stop band specifications are met. This is reasonable for the bilinear transformation since we don't have to be concerned with aliasing. Now, as n is equal to 6, in S-plane, the 12 poles of the magnitude square function are uniformly distributed in angle on a circle of radius omega c is equal to 0.76622. So n is equal to 6. N is equal to 6. That is order of filter is 6. So we in S-plane, we have 12 poles of the magnitude square function which are distributed in an angle on a circle of radius omega c is equal to 0.76622. This is covered in the previous lecture while talking about Butterworth filters. So we have n, we have omega c. We can obtain the location of poles, 12 poles. So look at this. Here n is 6 even. So poles will be neither on real axis nor on imaginary axis. So these 6 poles on left hand side, left hand portion in S-plane corresponds to HS, HAS. And these 6 poles on right hand side in S-plane correspond to HA minus S. Now you look at this, the poles are also appearing in conjugate pairs. Now the angular distance between two poles is pi by 6 as 12 poles are uniformly distributed, and omega c here is 0.6676622. So this graph shows you S-plane location for poles of HAS into HA minus S for 6th order Butterworth filter. Now choosing only pole on one side, that is left hand portion of S-plane, I can determine HAS. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 poles are chosen, and you see there are 3 pair of conjugate poles. This means 2 poles are clubbed together. So the system function of continuous time filter obtained by selecting the left hand plane poles is HAS equal to 0.20238 divided by S square plus 0.396S plus 0.5871. Now, by this polynomial in denominator, it is indicating 2 poles in conjugate formation. Now, in denominator, other polynomial is S square plus 1.083S plus 0.5871. And the third polynomial in denominator is S square plus 1.48S plus 0.5871. So these 3 quadratic polynomials in denominator correspond to 6 poles on left hand side in S-plane, indicating forming the system function of HAS. Mark it as equation M. Now we are concerned about the system function HZ for discrete time filter. So for that, we will use bilinear transformation. HZ is equal to HAS evaluated at S is equal to 2 by T. Capital T is 1. So S is equal to 2 bracket 1 minus Z inverse divided by 1 plus Z inverse. So I will substitute 2 1 minus Z inverse divided by 1 plus Z inverse here in HAS to get HZ by bilinear transformation. And I will get HZ is equal to 0.0007378 into 1 plus Z inverse raised to the power 6 divided by 1 minus 1.2686 Z raised to the power minus 1 plus 0.7051 Z raised to the power minus 2 bracket 1 minus 1.0106 Z inverse plus 0.3583 Z is for minus 2, bracket 1 minus 0.9044 Z inverse plus 0.2155 Z is for minus 2. So there are 6 poles in the discrete time system function Hz, and 6 zeros are there. If we look at the numerator of Hz, 6 poles are according to the denominator of Hz. So this Hz represents a system function of IR filter derived through this Butterworth filter response, 6th order Butterworth filter, HAS. Now the behavior of H e raised to j omega at omega is equal to pi corresponds to the behavior of H a j capital omega at omega is equal to infinity. To calculate H e raised to j omega, I will evaluate Hz at Z is equal to e raised to j omega. So for getting H e raised to j omega, I will substitute Z is equal to e raised to j omega here in equation O. Therefore, the continuous time Butterworth filter has 6th order 0 at s is equal to infinity. Look at this. Here, from this, we can observe that the continuous time Butterworth filter has a 6th order 0 at s is equal to infinity, and the resulting discrete time filter has a 6th order 0 at z is equal to minus 1. Look at equation O. According to the numerator, we are having 6th order 0 at z is equal to minus 1. So there are 6 zeros on at z is equal to minus 1. It is interesting to note that we can use equation A and J to show. Now we will see what is equation J. This is equation J. And A is belonging to the bilinear transformation. So by using A in J, I can show that magnitude H e raised to j omega raised to power 2 is equal to 1 by 1 plus tan omega by 2, small omega by 2 divided by tan omega c by 2 raised to power 2 n. Mark it as P. This is magnitude squared function for nth order Butterworth filter, where tan omega c by 2, where tan small omega c by 2 is equal to capital omega c t by 2 according to the bilinear transformation. It is monotonic, it is maximally flat, and magnitude h e raised to j omega square at omega is equal to omega c is equal to 0.5, which we desired. However, the function magnitude h e raised to j omega square is periodic with period 2 pi in discrete time domain, and it falls off more sharply than the continuous time Butterworth response. So as we are talking about the discrete time domain, so magnitude h e raised to j omega square is periodic with period 2 pi. This is known to us, and it falls off more sharply than the continuous time Butterworth filter response. So this observation that it is maximally flat and magnitude h e raised to power j omega whole square evaluated at omega is equal to omega c is equal to 0.5 fulfill the requirement for Butterworth response. Now looking back, if you see the solution, we first pre-warp the frequencies in this step. Then we have calculated by the boundary conditions that what is the response, magnitude response at passband edge frequency, what is the magnitude response at stop band edge frequency. We have calculated omega c and omega c and capital N from the equation of magnitude squared function for Butterworth filter, where omega c is the cutoff frequency which we always decide for Butterworth filter, and N which is order of Butterworth filter. Now from the pole locations, we have got 2 n poles, and we have chosen poles from the left half plane in S domain, which correspond to HAS. We have formed system function HAS for 6th order Butterworth filter, and then we apply the bilinear transform on this HAS like this, considering t is equal to 1, and got the system function response for equivalent IR filter HZ in discrete time domain. And these are some of the observations, critical observations. And this is a procedure by which we design IIR Butterworth filter in discrete domain, starting from the analog domain and then using the bilinear transformation through the pre-warping concept, frequency pre-warping concept. And like following this procedure, we can also transform Chebyshev filter into equivalent IIR, Chebyshev filter from analog domain to IIR digital filter. But we need to follow the same procedure. So this lecture is from the book of Oppenhand Scheffer on discrete time signal processing. For more details, you can go through the book. There are other examples related to Chebyshev filter also. The students who are interested in self-study, they can refer to this book. That's all for today's lecture. Thanks for attending this session on DSP. See you in next lecture.